Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hanif bin Ghazali, and I would like to present about our project presentation. For my part is methodology. So our circuit that we choose is buck circuit conversion DC to DC. So this is our block diagram. The first step is we are brainstorming about the idea, which is the selection whether we will have to choose buck converter, boost converter, or buck boost converter. Finally, we have conclude that we have choose the buck converter. Next step is the calculation of C, L, and duty cycle. Okay, after we calculate the value of C, L, and the D, which is the duty cycle, we will use the value that we have calculated and put it in the circuit that we want to construct in the Simulink, which is buck circuit without the UTID. After we simulate the circuit without UTID, we analyze the graph, which is the V out, I out, and the duty cycle. So after that, we want to compare the circuit when the circuit have the PID or do not have the PID, which of the result have the best result. So after that, we try to simulate the buck circuit with PID, and then we analyze the graph, which is the V out, I out, duty cycle, and voltage and current ripple. So after we see the both difference of the output from the graph, we want to tune the PID using the transfer function. After that, after we tune the PID using the transfer function, the tuning parameter will give the difference output that we have. So we can get obtain the new V out or I out result after the tuning, which is from the transfer function. And then lastly, finally, we analyze the V out, I out, and PWM, which is from the switching frequency. So in here, we conclude that the difference result between the result from the PID using PID or not using PID and after the tuning parameter have done. So next is the calculation for open loop. So this is the parameter that we choose, which is for the Vin 12 volt, Vout 5 volt, IOCCM 0.1 amp. The voltage output ripple is 1% and the frequency is 50 kHz. To calculate the D, which is the duty cycle, we will use this formula, which is Vout over Vin. Then to calculate the value of the to calculate the value of the inductance, we will use this formula, which is 1 minus B, which is duty cycle, over 2 times frequency times B out over IOCCM. And for the third equation, we will use to calculate the value of the capacitor. So the equation is 1 minus D duty cycle over 8 times inductance times frequency square of frequency times by 1 over voltage output ripples. So this is the formula that we use to calculate the value that we want to choose, which is the duty cycle, inductance, and capacitor in the open loop before the PID. Okay, this is the circuit that we construct that use the open loop. This is the construct of buck circuit without the PID. So we can see that this circuit is open loop because there are no reference output from the output voltage coming back to the MOSFET. So the open loop flowchart will use like this. From the start, the duty cycle will calculate from our input, and then to the PWM generator, to the buck converter circuit, and then to the voltage up, and just like that. This is the open circuit. In closed loop, which is closed loop, we have to use the PID controller which that the reference value of the V out will coming back to the PID. Okay, the value from the voltage output here and the reference voltage here will be summing together and will be go into the PID box, and then this PID box will calculate the error and then go into the PWM generator, and then after that go into the MOSFET, and this PID will calculate the error and choose the perfect value of inductance, resistance and capacitor to use in this buck circuit to comply with our input and output. So this is our flowchart for closed loop. And here we can see that from start until the voltage out is always the same as the open loop. But here we have the voltage reference. Voltage reference we set to 5 volt, so which is for our V out that we desired. So if the voltage reference and the voltage up is not coming back with the same value, so it will go into the PID and we calculate with a new value. If yes, it will go to N. This is the tuning parameter that we use for our PID controller. This is what we have set earlier. So that's all for me. Thank you.